It is the Riot Podcast.
Hudson's still in today.
It's still me.
Well, let's not say it. Let's maybe lift our voice like, hey.
It's still me.
It's still me.
It's still me.
So Hudson will also be in tomorrow for the podcast. And then no podcast on Thursday and Friday. Mm-hmm. And then Obi will be back on Monday.
Yes.
With, I'm sure, his tales of his vacation.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot to share, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully so.
In the show today, we have to give Baylor their credit for winning the college basketball championship. And there's a big proportion of food talk.
I think so. Now looking back,
we're feeling extra hungry still.
Maybe. Well, I think the problem is when I was putting together some of the stuff to talk about for the show is on Monday you come off the weekend, which is a lot of entertainment stuff.
Yep. So
you got a lot of movies, TV show, that sort of talk.
Yep.
And then it seems like every other day it leaves just food talk.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to balance it maybe a little better. We'll try to do a little less food talk tomorrow.
Let's get weird. Let's get crazy.
Let's
talk about stuff we would never. Let's find things you would never talk about with Obadiah.
Okay.
And talk about them with me.
The problem is I don't mind talking about food.
That's true. You just want to talk about more food.
So we'll see what comes up tomorrow. Yeah. But we do other things.
We do.
It's not all just food.
There's even some entertainment news in there. We talked about the Loki trailer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we talked a little bit about the trailer and a lot about Owen Wilson.
We did. We didn't even do that right.
No. But it was good to see him again.
It is.
We've got resume keywords to help you get a new job.
That's helpful. It's not food related or entertainment related.
Not only is it not food related, it is. It's a life hack.
It is.
In a way. It's something that's going to give you a better chance to succeed.
If you're wanting to switch jobs or if you're wanting to get a job just with your resume, it's things to not include and then what you maybe want to put instead of that.
Right. And then a bit of travel talk where we have the Spirit flight attendant situation.
That's bad.
And then the car chase.
Oh, yeah.
I like the car chase story. That was fun.
That's not travel. That's law enforcement.
He was traveling from Florida to a detention center.
He wasn't in Florida. He was from Florida.
Yeah.
He was just going in Kansas. But you'll hear what he did. And I think Hudson brings to the table the good point is why it was so safe in Kansas. And if you've never been there, he'll tell you why.
It'll all make sense.
Well, thank you for listening to the podcast today. Thank you for always texting and saying hey at 877-2-RADIO-U or RadioU Riot on Facebook is the easiest place to message us also.
And don't forget, you can send us stories too.
You could.
If you want us to talk about something, food or non-food.
That'd be helpful for tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, Internet. The worst of the Riot Podcast.
Did you stay up for the game last night?
I did not see any of it.
You didn't see a moment?
I was just hoping deep down I knew you would. You would take that one for the team. So
I thought maybe after a whole year without a basketball tournament.
Oh, I know.
You have some spark of curiosity of what was it like when they had basketball tournaments.
And it could just be me because, my world of online stuff tends to have different advertising pushed at me. But I just feel like I have not seen a lot about March Madness this time. I did not see as much.
I think it's not even this year as much. It's just that college basketball is not as popular.
Yo, really?
And in previous years, the game wouldn't even, I don't think, be on CBS. Like it wouldn't be on. You would have to find it on cable instead of actually being able to watch it on your whatever it's called,
over the air, yes,
your
networks.
Antenna, as they used to say. So yeah, it's gone down in popularity, but still March Madness is a lot of fun. And the other, I guess, I don't know if it's fun or not. This year you had two teams that were at the top the whole time, so maybe that led to people's brackets not being busted as much, although the early rounds were really tough on that.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even see a lot of bracket talk, and normally there's a pretty good amount, but it's still extremely popular.
Maybe it's one of those things people went a year without it and realized they just didn't need it.
Uh-oh, don't say that. College basketball doesn't want to hear you say that.
Not.
But Hudson did watch a bit yesterday.
Yes.
So Baylor won 86-70, beating out Gonzaga, which a lot of people thought would be the winner.
Gonzaga was undefeated, and they were the big favorites. all through. As soon as the tournament started, they were ranked the top team. They were supposed to win, even against Baylor. It was a pretty, like, if you would have asked earlier in the season, people would have thought Baylor had a chance. But for some reason, Baylor, what happened to them was they got the virus partway through the season. It stopped their season for a while. And when they came back, they were not as good.
Yeah.
But then once the tournament started, they figured it out again.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
gosh.
Last night, they got out to they had a 19-point lead at some point in the first half. It got somewhat close in the second half, but it was not close enough where I felt like I needed to stay up because Gonzaga might pull off the win.
Well, I appreciate your honesty with that.
Baylor got out and ran with it, and that was it.
Good. So that's their first ever basketball championship title. So congratulations to them.
I see, who is it? Tadashi. We have a couple of our artists that are seem to be big Baylor fans. I know Tadashi definitely always supporting the Bears.
Okay. Bears. I did not know that too.
Yeah.
Hudson brings so much. I just didn't know.
I'm so online.
Should we thank the RadioU insiders for that as well?
Oh yeah, of course.
The music news that Hudson is kind enough to make sure you guys know about.
Right.
That's helpful
I see all the things all
you see
the artists
Tadashi news?
post.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, congratulations to Baylor again. 86-70 for NCAA tournament. It's done. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
All
Season's
done.
over.
All done now.
Yeah, we can move on to something else.
You almost missed hearing this one. We just couldn't let that happen. The worst of the riot. RadioU.
So, Hudson, moving from college basketball to the NHL.
Ooh, my other area of expertise.
Well,
this is the best day.
Do you like Little Caesars pizza, or does it go down at that point?
I've been known to eat a Little Caesars pizza every so often, but that's at that point
it's
you
not
might
an everyday
as well
food.
No, you might as well just get a frozen pizza though at that point.
It's true. I mean, some people love and swear by it. Other people just do not like Little Caesars.
It's not good, but they do sell little cups of garlic sauce there, and that can cover up for basically anything.
You do enjoy that. So Little Caesars has details how you can take advantage of their crazy bread NHL thing that they have going on through the end of the NHL season. So basically you can get a free order of crazy bread. I want to be in these meetings, but you got to purchase a pizza.
Okay. So it's not
what you think it is. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with it. They're kind of having more fun with it, but they're basically telling you that you need to sign up, and if you name the room that you're going to watch the NHL hockey games you have to put the sign up that they're going to be emailing you, and you have to call the room the Little Caesars NHL hockey room every time you reference it.
So you're sponsoring out. You're selling the naming rights.
Pretty much.
And the price is
crazy bread.
Crazy bread.
That's
you're really not putting a lot of... why don't you get a few offers? Collect some offers, see which one works out best for you.
Might work out for
maybe
your
you
room.
Want to have the Taco Bell hockey room instead.
Well, we're not done. You get the first 600 people who sign a naming rights contract with them.
You know what that means? It's too late already.
You'll get an official copy of the naming rights contract, which they'll email you.
Okay.
You get a $50 NHL shop.
Read it carefully, by the way.
It's like a certificate, so I think you're fine. At NHL, unless they actually come and Little Caesars really does claim your room.
Right.
Later after this?
Yeah, if you don't refer to it as the hockey room, they reclaim, they sue you for damages. You have to repay them for all the crazy bread you ate.
You have to move.
Yeah,
You just didn't know this. You get a $50 NHL shop gift card. You get free extra most bestest pizza with purchase. So that's like their crazy bread.
Purchase, of course.
With purchase of any pizza every single Wednesday for the remainder of the season. And you get a VIP lanyard that you wear while you're in your Little Caesars NHL viewing room.
Ooh, VIP. Yeah.
You have to be 18 or older. You can sign the contract, and the offer is good between April 7th, so tomorrow, through May 11th.
Oh, so it's not too late. I was thinking 600 people. There's no way you're going to get this. But if you really are committed to Little Caesars and you want to, really partner with them.
It could. You could.
And, soon maybe you can start having people over And now you're going to have a sponsored living room.
You don't want to share the crazy bread if you get it. You don't want to share that. So it's every Wednesday that you get the offer. But again, there's some qualifiers. So.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's not that many. I don't know if they're counting the playoffs because the NHL season only has a couple more weeks left.
They say that it goes till the last day of the NHL regular season.
Yeah. So this is really
May
not
8th.
that much you're getting back when you start to.
That's it.
When you start to list it out, and the thing that concerns me is you sign this contract and it probably says something like Little Caesars can email you every 15 minutes for the rest of your life.
Well,
that's the problem.
You want those emails. Those are deals.
That's right.
I'm sure you want that.
That's where the real value is. That's where you're really getting the payoff for sponsoring your living room.
Well, if you want to know what your email address is worth, it's worth one free Crazy Bread every Wednesday for a couple of weeks.
For a couple weeks.
As long as you buy a pizza also. It's not just free Crazy Bread on its own. You have to buy the pizza too.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So Netflix has, let's pretend it's a pie, all right?
Yes.
And you're like, hey, I wonder how many in the U.S., like how many users for Netflix and Amazon Prime and like who gets what when it comes to what's called the market share. So they're saying that Netflix, despite the fact that they added more than 36 million new users last year, I think that's worldwide. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But in the U.S. market, their market share, they lost 31% last year, even though they added worldwide so many new users. So if you look at, again, the market shares for all these streaming services, Netflix is 29% previous year. They went down to 20% of the market share.
That seems like a big drop.
It's a 31% drop since 2020.
Oh, no.
So right behind it, you have Amazon Prime. That is in second place with 16% of the market.
Kind of surprising.
You didn't think it? I think because everybody, no, not everybody, but a lot of people have Prime already for shipping
they
stuff.
They just have it, but...
So
and this is like just counting off of money made or money spent, really,
subscribers.
By consumers. It's not, yes, that's what it is.
Prime can kind of be the biggest, it's not a scam, but it doesn't mean that those are like active watching it everyday users.
Right. It's just if people are subscribing.
So Amazon Prime has 16% of the market in the United States. Hulu is in third place at 13%.
Good for Hulu.
They're holding on.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
So HBO Max right behind it with 12%. That's interesting because HBO Max is so new.
Right.
And they credit Wonder Woman in December for really pushing them almost to where they thought they would be several years from now.
Yeah,
that worked for them.
That was good timing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how such a movie that is not really well thought of wound up being such a big boon for them.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
All I needed to get was people in the door.
So you had HBO Max, then you have Disney Plus. That is, and again, you're like, oh, it's so low. But it's so low, but Hulu and Amazon and Netflix have been around for so many years that Disney Plus is the top 5, rounding that out with 11%. The rest of the market is made up of the others being Apple TV, Stars, Paramount Plus, all the pluses.
Peacock, probably.
Discovery Plus.
They're so small, they don't even make the list of others.
They weren't even referenced at all.
Yeah. It's not going so good for Peacock.
No, I know. And I was looking at something else. There was like, is it A&E or something? Like there's a plus now for them.
Yeah.
Literally every network has a plus.
I saw a commercial for it while I was watching Hoarders.
Did you?
And
I love that you watch Hoarders.
I do. I can't get enough of Hoarders, except I can because they're 2 hours long, which is an hour too long.
You think so?
Yes.
You have to have time to go through all that.
Yeah,
you can't just
it
clean
takes a
up.
while. The Hoarders are getting worse. They have too much stuff.
Yeah.
Too much stuff for me to watch all of them. All of the cleaning up. I only want an hour of cleaning.
That's all you can handle?
That's all I can deal with.
Well, why don't you just watch an hour and just wait for the episode after?
That's kind of what I do. I watch an hour and lose interest.
Or do you need closure?
I'm so excited when I see the episode, but I'm never excited enough to get all the way through it. So
now this is something I do a lot with shows and movies. Mm-hmm. I just skip through the middle and get to the end.
That's an idea because Hoarders is a lot of middle.
And they'll recap it at the end anyways.
Right.
So you'll learn it all.
That's a good idea. I need to do that. that.
So the drop for Netflix, obviously last year was really popular for streaming services. Now there's just so many more, and I think some people are just willing to start dropping Netflix.
Right. Yeah, Netflix, like you're going through this list, I have access to all of them. I don't think I use Netflix. May be the one I use the least.
Oh, really?
Out of all of them at this point, and I haven't had anything like new and exciting that's come out in a while. I mean, they're all. They hate to hear me say that.
Yeah, they don't like you.
They're always putting out new stuff, but there's so much new stuff on there that anything that might be new just gets lost in that whole thing.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming, and just because you're adding new stuff doesn't mean it's good new stuff.
No, it definitely doesn't.
And there's a lot of other options, and Netflix made people mad quite a few times last year. So I think gone are the days of you keeping it because you just want to or you just do. There's so many other things to watch.
It depends on what plan you have, but Netflix has gotten to be very expensive compared to some of the other options as well, which doesn't bode well for them. And this probably all ties together of why they're trying to cut down on the password sharing now.
That could be. They want everybody
we
to
need
pay.
the market share back.
So Netflix, at least in this article, they say that they're, there for committed customers because they want to get you a longtime user of Netflix, so they want to make sure that you stay with them. Disney Plus doubled its content budget to $15 billion this past December. So they have a goal of reaching 260 million subscribers by 2024. And Disney Plus passed 100 million subscribers within 16 months of launching. That took Netflix a decade to do.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. RadioU.
Well, I saw a few TikToks on Easter from this, and I didn't know, I didn't catch any hashtags, but they're the best if you can look them up. Basically, it was trending that you were supposed to post pics if you had, when you have Easter, you get a chocolate bunny or something.
Right.
But it was basically everybody posting pics of the warm temperatures across the country. And this was coming out of the UK, and they had unseasonably warm weather as well. And it's basically just sharing pics of all your Easter bunny and Easter candy melted.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Oh, some of them look sinister.
Yeah, really. It's almost scary.
My favorite is this one chocolate bunny. Its ears have melted down and its nose kind of squished up into his eyes, so it looks like he's glaring at you.
Yeah, it's how could that even happen naturally? But yeah, it's pretty. That one is the worst. That's what caught my eye as well.
I just because his eyes are just all right, look at me.
So, it looks like a character from what's that game? Is it Five Nights at Freddy's or something? It looks like that.
It absolutely does. Now, again, you can tell some of this is British because they're like, the hot cross buns melted. And we don't know anything about that. But if you have any pics from any melted Easter bunnies, you're supposed to share them, even though now we're a few days late.
Now at the grocery store, you might be able to find these.
On sale.
The ones that are just sitting around,
You could melt it and still get in on it.
That's right.
Just to get in your car for a while.
Yeah, there you go. And nobody has to know that it's not
Easter.
Organic content, if you will.
If you really want to make it in social media, you got to make it happen.
Right. And make it seem like it was all spontaneous when the truth is
you missed
Easter. Cooked it up behind the scenes. Yeah.
You're just in there melting it in the house. And
then that one's not funny enough. Go get another one.
Go redo it again. And then maybe you can get in still on the end of this trend of posting pics of all your melted Easter candy.
And then afterwards you get to eat chocolate. So
I don't see that we're losing it all.
This is a win-win all across the board.
And your Easter bunny candy was all cheap because it's after Easter, so you saved money. You're gaining followers on social media.
Yep.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Do you guys remember Owen Wilson?
He's back.
What has he been in that we would remember? Even though when I saw the trailer for Loki for Disney Plus yesterday, I was like, hey, it's Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
and I think I remember liking him.
Yeah, he used to be in a lot of usually funny movies, but he had a decent run, but it feels like a while ago. I think Wedding Crashers was his biggest hit.
Did he do the Wes Anderson stuff too?
He did. was definitely in one of them.
Okay.
At least one of them.
But outside of that, if you remember Owen Wilson from another movie, please text and tell me.
Yeah.
But I was so happy to see him in the trailer.
His big is Bottle Rocket Wes Anderson. That's like going way back. That was one of his first movies. And that's it's him and Luke Wilson.
That's right, because aren't they brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a classic, but I mean that's like when he got his start.
I never saw Bottle Rocket, but I remember Eric liking it.
Yeah,
so
that's a good movie.
That's way back in the day.
Yes, I think that was from the 90s.
That's way back there. But it was great to see Owen Wilson in the trailer yesterday.
A little Wilson-assance.
But it's not bad. I'm glad he's in something.
Yeah. Did you like the Loki trailer though?
I did. I think I'll watch that.
Yes.
I didn't watch WandaVision. I haven't watched the other one that's on now.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I feel like that's died off a little.
Yeah.
Wasn't the same.
Yeah, I watched all of WandaVision and I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I might be in the minority. I could have gone for a whole show of everything in black and white.
Oh, really?
The I Love Lucy style. I thought that was great, and some of the later episodes lost a little steam. I watched the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And you still have the rest to watch.
I feel like I have a responsibility to watch it.
To finish it.
But it's just not as fun. You know, like it's just like WandaVision, it was Marvel, and it had a very unique feel to it. Falcon and Winter Soldier, it feels like if it didn't have the Marvel branding, it would just be another show out there. And nobody would even talk about it whatsoever. So,
well, you have till June 11th when Loki comes out on Disney Plus.
I am excited for. Yes, it's good to see Owen Wilson again, and Tom Hiddleston playing Loki. He's always fun. I feel like in anything he's in, it's always a good time.
Dakota, that's right. Lightning McQueen in Cars.
Oh, of course. That's his moneymaker. He could live off of that.
So he wasn't a Disney thing.
Yeah,
or would that have been, was Cars Disney and like Pixar stuff?
Yeah, Pixar. And
Lexi said he was in Night at the Museum. Those were good.
Okay.
And then Nate followed up as a double on the Owen was Lightning McQueen. You're right. That is probably where all the money he needs comes from.
A big blind spot that I just, Cars isn't a thing I like to think about a lot because, not really the Pixar's best.
I don't think you were the target either.
No, well, I mean, I wasn't too out of the age range.
True, when you were younger. Josh said Shanghai Noon with Jackie Chan.
Oh, yeah, that's another older one, though.
Brandon also said Shanghai Noon.
Okay.
Let's see, Phillips is a museum, so Night at the Museum.
But has he been in anything like good in the last decade, though?
We didn't ask for that.
No, we didn't.
We did not say that.
Actually, I thought of something. I don't think it was thought of as good, but there's this movie where it's him and Pierce Brosnan, and he's overseas with his family, and there's like a riot going on, and his family has to escape. Remember, it might be called Escape. Yes,
they jump from the roof.
Thing.
That's because I see that on like every TikTok and Facebook movie thing. It's always him jumping from the roof.
Huh.
I've never watched the movie.
I didn't know anybody, I thought maybe I was the only one that actually saw that movie.
No, it's always that, and he throws the girl or something over it. That's always a clip.
Yeah. I thought that was okay, but it wasn't anything that got people excited, I didn't think, anyway.
Wasn't he also in the movie with the dog that everybody cried about?
Oh, yeah. No, not me, myself, and Irene. Not McGee and me. What's it called? It's Marley and Me.
Maybe they also cried in all those other movies. I wish Owen Wilson was listening. He'd be like, wait, guys.
This is what you picked up from my career?
This is it. This is totally it. Yeah. But we're so excited to see him in Loki and just all the other stuff. It looks really good.
It was was it called Internship? That one is like the Razzie Awards. That one cleaned up at the Razzie Awards. It was supposed to be funny, and people did not like it.
Listen, it looks like it's going to be good. It's June 11th. You can all finish up all the other Disney stuff by then.
And all the other Owen Wilson stuff.
All the other Owen Wilson.
On the Owen Wilson universe.
You're like, yes, he had a universe then. And then we can all reconvene in June and watch this. And that'll be what Disney Plus would like us to do.
Reevaluate our thoughts on Owen Wilson then.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Since we were talking Disney Plus, we might as well talk The Mandalorian.
Of course.
It's not official. And it's not good news for the people that created this, but they had high Siberian winds, and there were cosplayers in Russia that had a life-size replica of the starship from The Mandalorian, the Razor Crest.
Okay.
And there's now video of the winds tearing apart this life-size.
Oh, no. There's actually look at that.
Isn't it big?
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
And it's really impressive how it just goes tumbling once the wind kicks up there.
Well, that's not the good impressive part that they want to show, but the video of it did take off because it is just so destructive.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad, though. I mean, I don't know. Cosplaying and Mandalorian doesn't all appeal to me as much, but still they put a lot of time and effort. That was a lot of hard work that they put into that thing.
It's near this one place, which is like the coldest place in the world, like just with the winds and stuff.
Known.
Well, I think they should have been a bit more prepared. And you put it at the top of the hill where the winds can really get at it.
Maybe they just they thought we can get one more round of publicity or of crowdfunding out of this.
That might feel more like
put
that's
it up
what they
on
were
the hill.
doing.
It falls down and boom, people want to support us again.
Now they have Mandalorian fans from around the world impressed at their cosplaying, like how far they'll go with it.
Right.
Because they made this whole Razor Crest spaceship thing. And then also sad because it's destroyed now.
Yep.
When looking at it, I thought it'd be more money. And this is a lot of money. This is, but I thought it'd be more. It was $10,000 to build this life-size replica.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money, but I feel like there's been other cosplaying ships that we've seen that have been more.
Yeah, maybe maybe part of the problem is they cut corners on it.
Well, on the pedestal. Yeah. That's what they said. It fell off
on the like tie downs. They didn't spend big on those.
You're
and
right.
That was the problem.
You're right. And when you look at the bottom, like I don't remember this ship with the Mandalorian, but if you look at the bottom, it kind of looks like the bottom of a trailer or something. It's just a couple of metal pieces.
Oh yeah.
It really does feel like it needs a bit more there, and it fell off in the high winds.
That's you'd almost feel looking at those stanchions or whatever it's standing on. You would almost feel nervous just getting in it in the first place, even if it wasn't high winds.
It would topple. You're right.
Yeah, right. It looks a little flimsy.
So it was built by local Mandalorian enthusiasts. They have vowed to rebuild this spaceship, which I never thought I'd say any of these words all in a sentence. And they want to install it at a hill in a park in the area.
Okay. And
that's the plan.
Oh, wait, another hill that it can go tumbling down.
Yes. And they built this, they unveiled it in March, so it's still relatively new for the Mandalorian cosplaying world.
Yeah.
So it didn't last long.
That wasn't long after the show came out, but it also has not been very durable. I feel like they should put it in the valley. Stop putting it at the top of a hill. Actually, you put it in the valley, it doesn't have so far to fall.
You're right. They don't just roll over. That's it.
Yeah.
But let's say they say they don't want to give up. They've got a lot of people supporting them. It'll be fine. And they said that, at the time when the pandemic hit, they were Star Wars fans, and in particular, the Mandalorian fans. They wanted to create the Razor Crest, knowing that no other cosplayers have done that before. Oh, my gosh. Put this on a poster.
Yeah.
Doing the impossible. This was our inspiration. So that's what they said. $10,000 later, it's now ruined.
Your cosplay is very inspirational.
The equivalent of someone's lint collection. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I tried during the downtime of the pandemic last year. I tried to get into Guy Fieri on Food Network because I was just like, well, maybe I'll like some of the shows. But last year, people like to make fun of Guy Fieri.
Yeah, he's a very memeable.
Exactly. Like he's just very out there, and he's got a style.
He definitely does.
It's not everybody's aesthetic, but some people like to.
But that's part of what makes him so him.
I think so. And I think likable on the other side of it. But last year, he truly made a lot of support for restaurants and for restaurant workers, where a lot of people kind of forgot about restaurant workers during some of the pandemic.
Right.
And money support, like financially supporting them. So last year, I think for the people that always made fun of him, I think then it was wrong to make fun of him because of how much he did. And so that kind of turned for him last year. And I feel like people hopefully respect him a little bit more.
I think, too, a lot of it is like you make fun of him, but it's not because you don't like him.
Sure.
You know, it's just like it's all in
making fun.
He's a goofy guy, so it's just he's an easy target.
Well, I was trying to find, and they didn't say it in the article, but I was real curious. Like, I wonder how much he makes for this. But Guy Fieri, if you're like, oh, I love him, then you're getting 3 more years with him and Food Network.
Oh, good for him.
Because he just signed a new contract. I was so curious what he would get for 3 years, but they don't say it.
You think he's the highest paid guy on the Food Network?
I bet he is.
Because I can't think. I mean, I've heard other chefs that come and go on there, but I don't know if there's any that are as TV popular as he is.
I think he has a lot of shows. He produces a lot of shows. I feel like he has a lot of merchandise, restaurant stuff.
Did you see he has new kitchens here?
He has the Guy Fieri. It's a ghost kitchen.
Ghost kitchen,
yeah.
I've never tried it. It's kind of expensive for what it seems to be.
Didn't like the menu.
It's not very expansive either.
But I saw it on DoorDash. Everything here is a ghost kitchen now. That's all we get. But I did see that. He has other restaurants, and so I think he's probably the most paid.
Right. When you factor in all of the different revenue streams he's got. Guy, to me, is the quintessential, I would probably never just put on any of his shows, but if it's already on, you're okay watching it. That's how I feel. I have some family members,
just leave it on.
My parents and stuff like that they'll watch Guy, and if you're just hanging out, it's like, this isn't such a bad thing.
It's not
we
bad.
could be watching something worse.
So some people are texting saying maybe Bobby Flay is maybe more money. I don't know.
He might make more money in general, but I don't know if it's if you're strictly talking TV stuff.
It's not Food Network money.
I don't know if he's as popular TV wise.
So I was just looking. I just thought it was interesting. 3 more years you'll get. It's it's not quite a presidency, but you're at least getting 3 more years. And I didn't know he won. They had a show called The Next Food Network Star.
Yes.
He won that. It was the 2nd season.
I remember that.
And that's where they found him. I thought he was just always a chef.
Nope. I remember. I don't think I watched all of the
How much are you watching of him?
This is 15 years ago.
I feel like you know more about Guy Fieri than I thought you did.
My dad does love Guy Fieri.
Oh, he does?
So, and the other thing I have to give him credit for, talking about restaurants, the stuff that he does feature on diners, drive-ins, and dives is usually a good if you're going somewhere new.
A good solid one to choose.
Look up where he's been, because it's the fun stuff.
Something to listen to when you meant to work out but tripped into a box of donuts. This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
So Taco Bell, I feel like at the end of the summer when they pulled all their potato stuff last year. Do you remember that?
Yes, and people were upset.
I used to like the Pataco. That was a potato taco.
Yeah.
And that was all gone. And now they just keep bringing things back that have potatoes in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but Taco Bell has announced the beefy potato burrito. That's a potato burrito.
Okay.
It's not much.
I didn't pick up on that at first, but it makes sense. It adds up.
Yeah, it's a potato burrito.
Potato,
it's
burrito, potato burrito.
So the list is not long that's in it. It's crispy potatoes, beef, nacho cheese, chipotle sauce, and a tortilla. And that starts on April 15th.
And it does look good, doesn't it? That picture.
I'd eat anything right now. I would absolutely eat anything.
They really know how to showcase their food.
I've never had Taco Bell look that good.
Yeah, really.
It's oozy. It's just gooey. The cheese.
And you can tell those potatoes, they just crisp. They're so crispy. You just bite into them and you get a nice crunch.
Oh, it's never looked that good in real life.
No, it's not. It's like half the size, if that.
I know. Mine's usually flattened down.
It's like the size of your finger, probably, It is not.
That's false advertising in that picture,
Yes.
but in the picture it looks really good. So if you want the beefy potato Rito, it is a limited time offer because they're bringing some potato stuff back. What did you talk about on work today? Well, I talked about the potato thing at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Some of the potato stuff is coming back full time, and others are going away. It's just limited.
Yeah.
So if you want the beefy potato Rito, you can.
But this...
Come closer. You can order it today.
What?
This is so dumb. If you're unless you really want it, then this is great. If you're a Taco Bell Rewards member, you can have early access.
Oh, early access to the
the
potato
menu
Rito
item, and that's something that's a perk if you use the app for it. So you can order it ahead of time before the 15th.
They're learning too much from music artists and stuff like that. Where
Early
they're like,
access?
Early access. That's what people like.
Well, the only problem is then you're going to your Taco Bell. They don't know about the early access thing. You get attitude, and all you wanted was the beefy potato Rito.
And they're like, we don't even have that yet. So you get it when everybody else does.
I know, they throw a fit.
There are no VIPs at Taco Bell, okay?
So do with it what you want. If you want to try to get it early, they say if you're a rewards member, you can.
I feel like a lot of times you have to remember when you're going to fast food places, like sometimes you feel like the employees are looking down on you, and maybe they are, but at the same time, like they don't have I worked fast food, but they don't have, they're looking down on you, but it's not like they're up on their high horse either. Because they're a fast food employee.
They just don't want to do it.
But I feel that if you're like, I'm a VIP member and I'm getting the potato Rito early, that is when they can really look down on you and be like, this guy has a problem.
Well, I mean, you're excited, but they're going to see it as a problem because you're causing them to have to do something else.
Right. And they're like, where they're really going to think is, why are you getting so excited about Taco Bell?
Wow.
This is just a restaurant.
But it's the potatoes, and they're back, and it's a limited time. So if anybody tries the beefy potato Rito, let us know how it looks compared to its stock photo for its new stuff.
Yeah.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I have never read a good story about Spirit Airlines.
No, they're never in the news for good reasons.
They're only in the news when someone is getting kicked off a plane and it's made news.
Yep.
But I've never heard nice, normal things.
And if you ever see people at the airport at Spirit Airlines, they're never happy either.
Oh, really?
They're a lot of times they're rushing to and then there's an angry line at the counter. That's Spirit Airlines, always.
It seems like they got to work on their, what's the word? Like public
relations.
Yeah, or their social media or just how people view them. Because I know I think it's a discounted airline.
It is.
But it doesn't mean they have to act that way. So this is the big one from yesterday. The video shows a family. So I think it's a husband and a wife and 2 children going from Orlando to New York. And this is the video where the little girl, she's 2, she's on the mom's lap.
Yeah.
The mom is pregnant, by the way.
Right. 7 months pregnant.
And the little girl's just sitting there eating yogurt. And that's why everybody really likes this video. Because all the screaming's going on.
Yeah, and she's just doing her thing.
She's just eating yogurt. She's the cutest. She has no idea that everybody's screaming about her. But basically, a female air steward person.
Flight attendant.
Thank you. Flight attendant said, hey, you have to leave. And they're like, why? We're wearing our masks. They had a young boy with them as well. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, he's special needs, so I don't know if it didn't seem like he had a mask, but I think they were okay with that. But it was the little girl that they were having the problem with.
The 2-year-old.
The 2-year-old.
Who was
eating yogurt.
Yep.
Remember how he said everybody was really cute with how she was eating? Then they said that they needed to get off the plane. And so that caused a lot of problems. And it ended up to where the entire flight had to disembark. Like everybody had to get off the plane, and everybody was pretty upset about that. And then everybody was allowed back on the plane, including the family.
Uh-huh.
But what had happened is it wasn't the female flight attendant.
Right. She was just an intermediary.
She was the talker for the male flight attendant who he was then escorted off the plane.
So he was the problem.
He was the one.
That's a little bit of a role reversal.
It is. So he was the one who had a problem with them being on the plane and saying that he didn't want them to stay on.
Yeah.
And he was the one who then got escorted off, and then everybody was able to get back on.
Only Spirit Airlines would have the flight attendant kicked off of the plane.
Well, it's really confusing because when you're flying, you might not fly with children or something, but they're going to be on the plane. And that seems to be the problem a lot of flights have because they just won't wear a mask.
Right.
And if you look at the World Health Organization, they suggest it's 5 and under.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a age range, but it's just like if they're kids, like if they're little kids,
tiny
if they're
kids,
too young to go to school and stuff, then who's going to make them wear a mask? How can you even keep a mask on a little child like that?
Well, especially when they're eating, because you don't have to wear. Even grown-ups, like adults, don't have to wear it if you're eating on the plane.
Right.
But this was, oh my gosh, everybody's like, can we introduce you to some lawyers, some lawsuits? Because they expect that to be able to hurt Spirit Airlines, and people are just mad at them.
Not that Spirit Airlines has had like a lot, like the last year has been hard on the flight industry in general, so I'm sure things aren't especially going great for Spirit in the first place.
Well, people were mad because they got a lot of bailout money, it seemed to, and bonuses and stuff, and I don't know. They're mad.
Well, they're clearly deserving.
But the thing to remember from this whole video is just to watch, because if you get really anxious when there's a lot of fighting going on around you, just act like this little girl.
Just put your head down, eat your yogurt.
Eat your yogurt while everybody figures out while they're fighting about it.
They'll hash it out, and eventually you'll be allowed back on the plane.
See, it all worked out.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on RadioU.
I think this is kind of interesting. If you're trying to get a new job, or it's your first big job that you want to try to, or you want to change careers.
Yeah.
A career coach was giving words that you should not be including on your resume.
Okay.
Because these words are very trendy to use. But when someone was looking at hiring you, there's not really a way for them to verify that this is honest, or because, sometimes it's embellishing. You want your resume to kind of show the best that you can do.
Yeah.
So if you have on your resume and you're currently trying to find a job, these might be words to not include.
Okay.
So loyal.
Okay.
Energetic.
Okay.
Punctual. Motivated.
Yeah.
Hardworking, which is always on there, and team player.
I would never put those on my resume.
You wouldn't?
Because they're not true. So.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people put things on their resume that are not true.
That's true.
That is what you do. But they say that they're so personal that it's so trendy to want the person to think you're loyal and punctual and motivated.
That's a thing that somebody who's not very hardworking would put on there. That's the exact type of thing they would say.
Or they want to actually see examples of what you're saying, and you can't really show examples that you're punctual or that you're motivated.
What if you're punctual? What if you replace that with something like perfect attendance or something?
Well, now you're just bragging. No one has that.
You try to think of ways you can exemplify those characteristics without actually using those words.
Well, here's some other things you can put.
Okay.
I won't just leave you with what you can't, but here are some things that this career coach says you should put on there. Developed, meaning I developed a new training manual, or I developed, so if you had a project.
Yep.
Achieved, so you can say I achieved, put in whatever you want.
You have to achieve something to do that, but other than that,
it's fine. Managed, meaning if you managed a team of people, and including details with that.
Yep.
Initiated, so things that you actually started and kicked off.
Yep.
Those they'll want to see because it actually shows a possibility that you're telling the truth.
Those are all nice keywords. They are tough if it's like your first resume.
It's
you know
hard.
What I mean? Like
it's hard, but
definitely a lot more difficult. But
so they say,
I don't understand, Nikki, how I got hired here at RadioU when I was making my resume.
I remember meeting you for your first meeting. I was like, Hudson. It was exciting.
I did wear a suit, which I feel like stand
That was
out.
overachieving.
Yes, that's my biggest achievement until I got hired here.
And then
was
you're
wearing
like,
a suit.
I never have to wear a suit again.
Yeah, I haven't until this wedding that I have this weekend.
Oh, then you have to have
I have
that.
to wear a suit again.
Well, and if you're, again, trying to find a job or a career, they say put your phone number, your email, your website on the letter.
Yep.
Put the name of the boss that you're trying to meet just to make it more personal. Include language used in the job advertisement. So go to the advertisement, try to take some words from that.
I did. That's another thing I didn't learn until long after I was here, which again, I don't know how I got hired when all of maybe it was just long enough ago. Most places, if you're applying online, they're just no person ever looks at your resume. They scan your resume to see which words match up with the words in the job description.
Yeah.
And if you don't have enough keywords matching up, a person will never see it.
They say don't use a generic cover letter. Don't put your address on the cover letter. Don't say to whom it may concern. Don't include negative information on your job applications or medical issues.
Okay.
And don't put your date of birth. So all that, they say, are keys to help you maybe get the career that you want.
That's a good start.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Hudson, I feel like we live in more of a Bang-style world where our coffee comes bold with, cotton candy flavors, and it takes you for a ride.
The maximum allowable amount of caffeine.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So when I'm reading about this, this seems a bit more delicate.
Yeah.
I know Bang. I don't think Bang has calories, but it's got so much other stuff in it. It's
There's
worrisome.
a lot of some other chemicals that harm your body.
Exactly. So San Pellegrino, which is a sparkling water, they are doing new coffee-flavored, zero-calorie sparkling mineral water.
Yes, and it just sounds nice. Doesn't it just sound nice?
They call it gently caffeinated, where, again, we're used to
I love that term.
Bang and Monster and all that stuff. This is gently caffeinated with only, I think it's about 30 milligrams of caffeine with it. So not a full cup of coffee. It's about a third of what you would find in an average cup of coffee.
Okay, so I'm going to need to drink at least 3.
It looks like they're small, tiny cans, so I'm sure that's not too hard to do.
So what do they have? 3 different flavors, it looks like?
Exotic, vanilla, and coffee. And again, this is a different
Exotic.
world. They tell you to pair it with fresh berries and nuts.
Oh, okay. I'm glad they have the pairings. The suggestion.
There's a delicious cocoa and coffee. Say
that feels a little cocky, doesn't it?
It's not
putting
even
delicious
chocolate.
right in the title.
They suggest pairing it with a biscotti, pastries, croissants, or muffins.
Ooh, I suggest that as well.
That one sounds pretty good. And then a smooth caramel and coffee. It's meant to go well with white cheddar cheese and apple or pear slices. So I don't know if this is normally our world, but they sound good.
Coffee. Caramel apple coffee water all going together there.
It feels like that one's supposed to go with, some people make a grilled cheese sandwich and they add apples or pears to it. So
or you
could
get
probably do that.
I feel like that's an afternoon snack board. You just cut up some fresh fruit.
Charcuterie.
And crack open a Pellegrino. You just sip on it.
Oh, it's something. I wonder how much of the coffee flavor comes through compared to like the sparkling water.
Right.
Because at first I thought, it's totally coffee tasting like the whole thing, but
it's just going to be watered down coffee with some carbonation.
That's what I'm worried about.
I trust Pellegrino. I do. They make good sparkling water. But
he likes the blood orange one.
Yes, I do. I really do. But I don't know that coffee sounds like it really would be good. Or like it sounds like it could be good, but it also could be really nasty.
Listen, I will try it if we find it.
Yeah.
They will be on stores nationwide. It seems right about now. You can get an 8-pack for $6. And this is the Essenza line of San Pellegrino.
It's all so fancy.
It is.
So elegant.
It is. And I don't know if we're into that world. It's not even
I'm
all
definitely more into the fancy, elegant world than the Bang, cotton candy, shoot caffeine into your eyeballs.
I'm not disappointed in you, but if you ever did mornings for longer,
yeah, right,
you got to go to that world.
See, I feel like it's in the short term when I would need that. That's when I'd be at my weakest.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got their stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on RadioU.
So this is a story of Joshua Swartwout, a 23-year-old guy from Naples, Florida, who was in Kansas. He was being escorted to a detention center. He had been arrested for stealing a car or something involving a stolen vehicle.
Okay.
Then when he was being transported, the police officer noticed a motorcycle accident on the side of the road. It was in just a smaller area in Kansas. So the police officer pulled over to see if he can help with the motorcycle victim. During that time, this police car had no back cage area. So the suspect being transported was in the seat next to the driver's seat. So he's in the passenger side.
Yeah.
So while the police officer was helping someone, he managed to take control over the police vehicle and took them on a 100-mile-per-hour chase until the police car ran out of fuel.
Jeez.
And then it was a foot chase for a while, but they were able to apprehend him.
Did they... I'm assuming he was in handcuffs.
He was in handcuffs. That's why everybody's kind of impressed that this guy could do.
I've seen other car chases where somebody is in handcuffs. And when you think about it, it would be very hard to steer with handcuffs. You know what it was? He was in Kansas. The road was just completely straight. He didn't need to steer.
He didn't have to. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
That's what it was.
Because if you've never been to Kansas, this is how it is.
Yep. If he wanted to, and 100 miles an hour probably wasn't even that much over the speed limit either.
Because they said that. No damage to the car. No accident whatsoever.
Well, there also probably wasn't any other cars.
It was the safest thing ever.
Yeah.
He just drove it. It ran out of gas. He got out of the car. He was handcuffed the whole time. They won't say, but they think he just drove with his knees.
Right, because you could put it on, again, flat, straight road, no other cars. He probably just put it on cruise control, steered with his knees if he really needed to, and then he was good to go.
Hudson and I watch a lot of cop footage, body cam stuff, all these things that's so popular now.
Yeah.
If this would have been in any other city,
that would have been like a 100-mile police chase. That's exciting.
So many people injured, so much damage to so many cars. But because it was Kansas and because it was such a small area and flat and straight, nothing.
Not even any corn was harmed.
Nothing at all. But he is in trouble again. So while he was in the car going to a detention center for a stolen vehicle thing, he just did what he does best. And he stole this vehicle too.
Compounding the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to fight the first charge against you when you go and steal the car again.
Yeah, you're not gonna win many of these.
Yeah, and people are also mad, at least online, because they're like, "Why did the police officer pull over to help the motorcycle accident victim?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Well, he's a police officer. Yeah. There's not that many people around, so it could be a while for him to get help from anybody else."
Right.
So you just pull over to help somebody.
Right. You would think you would be okay with the guy being handcuffed.
Yeah,
but
I think it's a different world there because people are like, "Why'd you do that? You were transporting," but this guy just was able to take control over the police car.
Yeah.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Hudson came staggering at our door with a bottle, as he often does.